What's up? What's up? What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to TDPHINSTALK, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. As popularly requested, we have Phinsanity 5 Mondays, baby. She is here. She wants to talk all about what went down today so far. She's excited. She has so much to add. I'm not sure if she's going to be taking guests or not on the show, but you all can ask her that. Without further ado, I want to welcome to you the queen of TDPHINSTALK, Phinsanity. What's up?
Hi, everybody. Hey, first of all, first correction. Hillary is foremost always the queen of TDPHINSTALK.
She a Cowboy fan.
But, she shows us love on so many, occasions, beyond herself, beyond what she needs to as a wife, She definitely, shows love to our team. So shout out to Hillary. How you doing, girl?
Yeah, well, later you're gonna have to check me out on my All Sports channel because I lost a bet and I gotta wear this little cowboy thing talking about the Dak getting franchised. So I have to wear a cowboy thing and do a video on it. So y'all check me out over there, man. But go ahead. But I'll see you soon. I'll be in the chat, Phinsanity.
Hi. Welcome, everybody. As you guys know, or if you didn't know yet, I am Phinsanity 5 coming all the way from New Jersey. Yes, I am streaming live from New Jersey right now. And I am so happy to see every one of you. Hi, Chad. Hey, Pete's Auto, Mr. 305 for real, Mike Simmons, Amber Rain. Sorry, I'm just seeing it as it's coming up. So if I see your name, I'm definitely going to get a chance to shout you out if I can. So TD has already given, his feel about the free agent signings. I'm here to tell you guys how I personally feel about this. I remember when Eric Flowers got signed, the first thing I did was I texted TD and I'm like, Eric Flowers, I know a lot of guys outside of our team by their last name. So I'm thinking okay, all the Flowers guys. And immediately, because I have a cousin who's a Giants fan, I thought about that guy and I'm like, oh, that guy? Oh, Lord. But then I saw what he was able to do with the Redskins. And I really started thinking about it. And I was trying to get you guys to understand it from this point, right? He came in as a left tackle, right? And he did not do as well as his draft position, as you guys would suspect him to do. But it's where you guys forget this. You have 21 and 22-year-old guys coming in, right? And you expect them. Because if you're playing a tackle position, 9 times out of 10, you're on an ISO block by yourself, and you have to, maintain the edge of the pockets for the quarterback, correct? And especially if you're playing the left side, you got to maintain that blind side, because if that guy gets around you, it's most likely a sack fumble for a touchdown. Something bad's going to happen, right? So you have a 21, 22-year-old guy, and you're asking him to do this by himself against guys who've been developed on the defensive inside, who've had years in, much more, core strength and conditioning. So yeah, he looked a little bit new. He looked like a rookie out there. But then the Redskins picked him up, acquired him, and said, you know what? Let's move him. We know like this. I don't know if it was his feet that was, bothering him. I don't know if it was, his leverage where he was having trouble on the outside. But once I get time to actually go back and look at his tape in totality, because this is a very, very, very fast turnaround from all of this, I will be able to come back to you guys and let you know what happened with this guy. Why did he not make it out on the outside? And then if we really want to think about it, when's the last time the Giants had a respectable offensive line? So there's probably some nuances in that too. So he goes to Washington. He does his thing at guard on a horrible line where it just seems like with Washington last year, all the pieces were falling apart. They were losing running backs left and right. Trent Williams didn't want to play. You got Sheriff that's, he gets injured. He's trying to come back. He's playing for a contract now. He gets taxed, so he's not an option. So we go out and we get his partner on the other side. So I am so happy about that. We addressed, one of the probably the most important part, because we're bringing in a young rookie quarterback, right? So now, even if our quarterback, sits behind Fitz, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole again. Then you give an offensive line that we're going to put together a year to build a chemistry. That takes time. And with all this coronavirus mess, we do not know when the guys are going to be allowed to come into the facility, when they're going to be allowed to, start working on their conditioning and their training. So to get a veteran guy who knows how to get in football shape, in an off season already, that is like it's monstrous to us. And I don't think you guys are like taking it to that. We need some veteran guys to go along with these young guys. And to me, this is a gateway. If we don't pick up Glasgow or Carras, to let Dieter go ahead and play center, right? Can he do it? Can he? Because he played multiple positions inside in Wisconsin. So he didn't do, too well. And that's the thing. We get so stuck like, oh, where did they play in college? Sometimes moving them to another position in the NFL is what's best for them. Remember, Tunsil, he dropped to us, right? Because of the whole scandal. We're not going to get into that man's business, right? He drops to us. We have Brandon Albert already sitting out there at left tackle. We pick him up and we move him in, and he develops as a guard first, and then we move him out. So sometimes being able to develop on the inside and knowing the nuances of how the inside of your line works and how those guys are thinking is so paramount to win if we want to move him back out. I'm not saying that's what we're going to do. We're just going to see what happens. Because at the end of the day, you got Dieter, who's a multiple position offensive lineman who still needs to develop. And now you got this kid, Eric Flowers, who could play inside, outside. So now to Shaq Lawson. Now, y'all already know where I live. I live on the defensive side of the ball. And it's crazy to me because as soon as we get Lawson, here comes the, should we trade X talks? And I'm like, trade X? Why would we trade X? Like, give X a year to be healthy with a pass rush. Let these quarterbacks throw these balls under pressure up to X, X is who he is. He has great footwork. He's fast. He's able to read the routes. He's able to jump routes. So I'm excited to see, does X with a pass rush, like a legitimate, pass rush, get back to his Pro Bowl form? The reason why we paid him all this money. Hey, Tommy, how are you? So I know TD won't agree with me, right? That's crazy, right? But I'm saying this, even if you say, boom, right? We bring in Byron Jones. I saw earlier, that's who you guys want, right? You got Byron on one side, you got X on one side, right? So 9 times out of 10, anyone who would have any common sense of thinking, where would the quarterback now try to, focus their attack on? The middle of the field, correct? Well, the middle of the field isn't going to be too safe, especially if you put Bobby back at slot. I'm not saying Bobby is our best option at slot corner, but he has been able, Javi Boy Sports News, he has been able to hold his own within the slot in previous years, right? So now if we negate the outside, throws, right? Because we have 2 lockdowns. So now you have the safeties. You have your safeties and your linebackers who you say, you know what? Commit to the middle. So now I know EM and them are going to get on me on technique and scheme and all this, right? So now what you have is you have a quarterback under pressure, right? He knows he can't go to his number 1 receivers because both sides are out. So unless they move them inside, he still most likely is going to have that guy getting doubled with a slot corner and a safety on top. And now, if you have the ability to have 2 shut down corner, you can bring that safety down into the box and say, go get him. I'm happy. I am so happy. I am so happy at the moves that we are making. And I was talking to TD, someone said, oh, we haven't made a big splash signing. Well, here's the thing with big splash signings, right? Most of those guys and their agents, they want to do the due diligence, right? They want to be able to see where they're going to get the best offer from. Yeah, the Dolphins can offer him the most money, right? But sometimes, they also want to see, what are you doing to help this team? Because most of these guys want to compete. You get a little bit more money in the playoffs. And also, if the Dolphins are going to be offering all these incentivized contracts, you want to make sure you have guys on the team that can help you get there. It's pointless to give a guy an incentive, let's say a $3 million incentive for getting, let's say 8 sacks. And he knows there's not going to be a single, pass rush option because all the other guys on the line are like horrible with them, so they're going to be able to double them. You feel me? So like you have to like look at the totality of this, and I believe that in the next couple of days we will be bringing in a big name. Don't think that just because we haven't gone and we haven't brought these guys in right now. The coronavirus is making a lot of things a lot more difficult, because I'm pretty sure we would have a lot of guys. Like I'm pretty sure Byron Jones would have been there. They might fly Clowney out there. I'm not saying, what's the name, because now we have Taco. We have to see what we're going to do with him, right? Because yeah, we have money to spend, but we also have to make sure that we're putting the right people on the field and we're putting the right team together, right? Because you don't want to just say, oh, just give me this little diamond, put it inside the ring, and you're looking like, well, it doesn't fit right? Diamond's going to keep falling out. It's going to look out of place. And I think someone said that earlier when we just signed Sue, when we signed Wallace, and we just brought in all these big names, but we did not bring any accompaniment around it. So I'm so excited. Oh, Melvin Gordon. Listen, Melvin Gordon at the right price is what they said. It depends what Melvin Gordon wants to get paid. I would love Melvin Gordon. He's awesome. Melvin Gordon is awesome in the red zone. If you don't know how amazing Melvin Gordon is inside the 20-yard line, the 10-yard line, he's getting you chunk plays. He's running over linebackers, and he's hungry. He is thirsty for that end zone, and that is something we need. We need, when we're in the red zone, the ability to finish off the drives. Yeah, we have a phenomenal special teams kicker, right? But who wants to be kicking field goals? Isn't that why we lost to the Jets? Because all we did was kick field goals. Yeah, the man broke a record for most field goals made in a game, but at the end of the day, you still lost. So I'm at this notion. Melvin Gordon at the right price, because we have the ability to go out and get a young power back in the draft, right? Which will be astronomically more cheaper, right, than Melvin Gordon. So it's kind of like you got to weigh the scale on that. Do we put all of our cards in Dawkins or Swift or Taylor, or do we really feel like Gordon is that piece that, but this is what I am. You're right, Em. Subpar lateral movement. Like I said, he is running straight through you. He's running through you. He's not making you miss. He's not, doing Reggie Bush on Darrelle Revis, making you tear your ACL, without any contact. But he is, if you give him the ball inside the 3-yard line, you can put like 99%, 9 times out of 10, he's going to get in the end zone. And we're not going to get into like some of the other guys that we missed out. But listen, I'm here for whatever you guys want to talk about. That's just my... Oh, Michael Pierce would be awesome. Listen, listen, Graven, how you doing, man? Listen, I am here to talk to you guys about anything. Come on in, bring your questions. I believe TD is controlling this backstage. So TD, start bringing them in multiple people at a time, and let me talk to them. I'm going to give you guys like 5-10 minutes, depending on how deep it is backstage. But I want to have a chance and opportunity to talk to all of you about, no matter what you want to talk about, free agency. Listen, hi, Lakeisha. If you want to talk to me about where I was wrong, where I was right last season, it's the beginning of a new season. Let me know where you would like to see improvement. I can go through all the things I was, wrong about and all my predictions. But I'm just here to talk to you guys. This is for each and every single one of you. And Rashad, you better be on here in like 5 minutes minimum. So TD, drop that link for everybody. How you doing, Big Boy Sports News?
What's up, Phinsanity? Oh my God, it's already been it's only the first day, and like players are not even signing in. Stuff is happening. My phone is just blowing up constantly. But it's only the beginning, and that's what I love about this. It's only the beginning, and like we've already gotten another offensive line piece and a defensive line piece. We got to go get that corner, though, in free agency. We need to get someone to pair next to Xavier Howard. If Xavier Howard is still here anymore, I'm starting to freak out about him deleting all his stuff from his Instagram. But we definitely need to keep adding pieces. We need to keep at it and don't overpay for people. Most definitely, it has to be at the right price for every single free agent you bring in. Don't overpay for a Melvin Gordon or someone like that.
Well, I think with the X situation, right? X knows what our front office has been doing. And X knows that right now he's more of a commodity than, I don't want to say he's more of a commodity than a necessity, but they know that the way the Dolphins are looking, big picture thinking, big plan thinking, that at this point, they would be able to almost maximize. Now, granted, he's coming off an injury, right? So if say if they take the chance and say, you know what, X, let's play out another year, right? We're bringing a defensive team around. We're going to have an attitude this year, right? You know, I think X is like smelling the writings on the wall. Either way, he's worth too much.
Yeah.
Coming like fourth in the future. So he's thinking, you know what? If I can get out now, why not get out now, right? It's
true.
Because he could potentially go to a contending team, right? I'm pretty sure like most likely the teams that he's going to go to was like a cornerback away, right? Now, this is where things get interesting because, you know, Slay wants to leave. X is talking about he wants to leave. And they're talking about potentially Melvin Gordon going to the Lions, correct? I think he's going to have a meeting with them. So there's a lot going on with a lot of these cornerbacks and a lot of these wide receivers. It's musical chairs right now. And I am very excited to see if we do move off of X, what are we going to be able to get for him? And most importantly, where is he going to be going?
I really wonder that too. I want to know what we would get for Xavier Howard. And I want to know if he's doing this stuff right now on Instagram to say, I want out of Miami. But that would be such a hard hit too. At the same time, he barely played last season and we saw what other cornerbacks can do. But he is such a big part of that defense. When you saw him play in the Pittsburgh game, you could see how well he fits in this defense and how good our defense can be if we just have all these other pieces in free agency and the draft put in. So I don't know if we can spare like getting rid of Xavier Howard, but if he wants to leave, there's nothing you can do about that.
I mean, so Tony, I'm going to get to you in 1 second. Just to follow up on that. I mean, think about all the multiple interception games he's had for us. I'm going back to, where he's been able to get the ball back for us from like in the red zone. And that right there is, immeasurable because now we're taking points away from the other team. You even go back to the play where Bobby, basically dislocates his shoulder, I think tackling Ronnie Nelson. And then the next play right after that, you got Cam Wake coming on Derek Carr's, not on his blind side, but you got Cam Wake coming off the right side. He hits him. The ball goes up in the corner. And I'm pretty sure every single one of us, when we saw that ball floating up into that back corner and we saw X, we were like, X is coming down with it.
Yeah.
Like bar none. Like, so we know what he can do when he has, guys getting pressure and they're floating these balls up to him and they're just throwing it up to him. X 9 times out of 10 is going to either bat it down or he's coming down with it. And that is something that is hard to replace. I do believe that with the continual development of Nick Needham and some of these other young guys that we have, that X knows he's going to be getting replaced. So it's kind of like he's trying to get ahead of the situation. And when you do,
but at the same time, he's still so young, and he could be a big part of the future on this defense. And you could pair him next to Nick Needham. That would be such a fantastic duo right there. Whoever you add, and it's not like you have to worry about being replaced because, well, obviously it's going to be competition, which Brian Flores is. That's a big thing with Brian Flores is competition. So you have to be ready to compete when you come back to training camp every single year, and you have to put up numbers during the season. So, but I don't think it would be a good idea getting rid of Xavier Howard. You have to keep him around.
Listen, I'm all for keeping Xavier Howard, but our front office set a very dangerous precedent last year when a player went to them and said, at all costs, I do not want to play here. I do not want to be here. And what did we do? We had everybody come talk to him. We tried to work things out like in a good relationship. And what still happened, right? So when you set a precedent like that for your players, now they feel like they have some leverage in this situation, correct? And that's when things get scary. When you now listen, I'm not saying, because I have to be very carefully how I word this. I am not saying in no case should a player not be able to control their own brand. But when, as an organization, you do not want players feeling like, if I am 100% not happy, I do not have to go out there and play. I do not have to go out there and put out my best effort. I do not have to go out there and put out my best foot forward. And once I leverage all those things, that I will be able to back them into a corner and force them to trade me. That is not where you want to be sitting at a front office position, because now anyone who comes into Miami, they can say, okay, I'm going to get paid. I'm going to get my guaranteed money. But you know what? If things don't go the way I want them to go, I am not going to be the one to try to stick it out and work it out. And the great words of Pleasure P. Tony, how are you doing, sir?
Hi, guys. How are you today?
I'm amazing.
Honestly, what I want to do is, I'm not sure if you guys agree with this, is let's say I honestly can't trust X to stay healthy for a whole season. So I would trade him to a team like maybe the Green Bay Packers for a 3rd-round pick, and maybe draft 2 more corners, a guy like Christian Fulton or Cameron Dantzler, and move Nick Needham into the slot and sign Byron Jones, and then draft 2 safeties.
I think bringing in a safety is imperative, because we don't know how many more years Eric Rowe has with us or has left to give us. I know they were looking at Logan Ryan. I think they're possibly talking about bringing him in. I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. But as far as trading X, to me, trading X should be like a last ditch resort, because he's much more valuable if he's healthy on our team playing for us than playing for another franchise. I'd rather have him here and sorry, I'm getting an echo from somebody. I'd rather have him here than playing somewhere else, because now we have another obvious hole on what I think that's our left side, right side. He plays one of the sides, right?
Sign Byron Jones.
Huh?
That's why I'm saying.
But who is going to? But see, I'm saying sign Byron Jones, right? Because we have the money to do that. Have X on one side, have Byron on the other side. Tell me that in that scenario, that is your best case scenario. Like the only reason why we should be trading X is if we are getting a top value for him. One, because you want to make sure for a guy like that, because you've already given him so much money. Right. And then you have to because I remember last year we traded Tannehill or we let him go, something happened, right? But we were still paying most of the man's salary. I do not need another situation like that. That is not what you are here for. X came to our organization. He said, I want to get paid. What did our organization do? They paid the man against some of the fans' personal wishes. We gave you what you wanted. Now it is your turn to fulfill your end of the contract. Sorry, I feel like that is your last resort effort to let go of X, because he is so much valuable when he is healthy and on the field. He ensures you that one side, other than DeAndre Hopkins, because DeAndre, I don't know, DeAndre will catch anything from anywhere. Other than DeAndre Hopkins, Larry has been mainly playing inside, so X didn't really have too many one-on-one situations with him. But other than that, he has been able to take out top wide receivers on other teams. And then you bring in a guy that's young, named Byron Jones, and now we have another situation. Didn't we go through something like this before when we had we had Vernon Davis, and who was his Smith? Smith? And we just started giving these quarterbacks away. No. We gave you what you wanted. You wanted your money. We gave it to you. You need to go talk to your priest, your minister, your mom, your dad, everyone in Texas, and let them know, hey, man, they need to let you know you got to fulfill this contract, man, because you're just too valuable. And I get it. Fans want to say, huh, what?
What worries me, can you trust X stay healthy for a whole season?
Yes, I can trust.
What scares me. That's why. That's why I'm saying draft Christian Fulton or Cameron Dantzler.
Listen, it's always great to have insurance behind it, and that's why if you notice, we had so much depth at cornerback last year. It just seemed like we kept pulling cornerbacks out of nowhere. So,
plus, has Xavier Howard ever gone through like surgery or anything else to actually like go through healing his knee?
Not since college.
College. That's the only other time.
Yep,
listen, I think we are overreacting to these injuries. Yes, they need to be a very serious cause for concern, but the man pretty much had a whole season and a whole off season to get this thing back right together. And if X is trying to leverage himself out of Miami, then he must know that he is willing and able to go out and play and most likely compete for a new contract with another team. What he's realizing is that all this money is getting thrown away. So when it comes back time for him to re-up his contract, correct, the money won't be there. So he's trying to get ahead of the curve while also being able to compete, while also be able to look at his future dollar amount. X needs to stay in Miami. I don't.
We draft another receiver to replace
to replace who?
How many extra years do we have of a premium? A prime version of Devontae before he starts regressing.
Well, you have
4 or 5 years.
You have a lot more years because he didn't play for a while, so he hasn't taken on hits. Now here's what I am more concerned about, right? And this is what I was speaking to with getting a better quarterback, right? Is a lot of the balls, if you guys looked at his highlights, it's where he's going up, right? And high pointing this. Well, that will cause over time a lot of damage to the lower part of your body. So that's where my concern is like how long can he sustain that before like he comes down wrong on his knee or down wrong on his ankle? Because when you're going up like that, you don't see where you're landing. You're just coming down and hoping that the ground is there beneath you and it's not somebody's foot or somebody's body or something like that, right? But he's been able to show great balance and, great vertical ability throughout the last season. So I truly believe that Devontae Parker will give us an amazing amount of years. If you're talking about possibly our slot guy, I see that right now as Isaiah Ford playing the slot. So I don't know who we necessarily need to replace. It's kind of like who we need to quote unquote improve upon. And this is with the 100% hope and belief that Preston Williams will come back and be like Devontae Parker 1.5 over there.
What about Albert for the slot?
Huh?
We're going to release Albert, honestly.
I don't think we're releasing Albert Wilson. I think we're going to restructure the contract to bring down that money per year. I don't think we're getting rid of him. I think we would have done it by now if we were going to.
Yeah, we would have done it by now. That's weird.
Listen, remember, there's always the draft where you can trade assets. Now, listen, I want to get to Ronnie Nelson's question. He says, Phinsanity, so far from what we are seeing with the Texans, do you think we'll be picking in the top 10 again next year? You know what? Listen, Ronnie, how you doing, sir? That is an amazing question. That's a really good question. Do I think, man, listen, I will say this. The one thing that I always do when because, I play the odds, I play the over-unders on teams' wins, right? First thing I always go and I see how strong is their division. I think bringing back Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill for the Titans kind of puts them in the forefront, barring that the Colts do not go out and get Phillip Rivers. But yes, this is top 10. Give me top 15. Something about Deshaun Watson. He's a winner, and he's a guy like if a push comes to shove, and you bring in a guy like David Johnson, so maybe the pass game isn't as potent where you can just throw the ball up to DeAndre Hopkins. But I still think that they'll get some wins within their division. I don't know who they're playing. I would have to look at their schedule, but definitely a top 15 pick. Definitely.
You'd probably be picking around 13, 14, or 15 with the Texans pick. I don't think there's any way that it's like a top 10 pick unless they're just terrible that out of nowhere they're just losing everybody. Because at the same time, you still have Kenny Stills to throw to for that offense. I think he's still under contract for them.
Yeah, Will Fuller.
Fuller too.
I'm not sure if you guys answered my Phinsanity. I'm not sure if you answered my question in the chat, but what would we have to give up since Washington franchise tagged Brandon Sheriff? What would we have to give up to trade for him, and how much money would you pay for him in an extension?
Personally, I wouldn't go after him at this point because they would most likely be looking. They would probably want some draft capital that I'm not willing to give up. And I think bringing in Jesus Christ, Eric Flowers kind of like the answer to that. Like, okay, you want Shref? We'll take Eric Flowers from you, kind of like thing. Like I was talking about that. Like the Redskins were in a situation, right, where they had to pick and choose, right? So they went with what they felt was their best option with Brandon Shref. Now we still don't know what's going to happen with Trent Williams on the right side, but with them having a young quarterback, I do not believe that they would put themselves in a position to lose both of their interior guards. Well, let me not say interior guards, not to lose both of their starting guards from next year, because the inside, as you know, within the NFC East, with the defensive lines of the Eagles, we're not going to talk about the Cowboys and their defensive line, but even bringing back Leonard Williams for the Giants, you do not want to have that big of a weakness in the inside of your line, especially with a young guy and Haskins, him only being in the second year. But if the Dolphins wanted to sort of say jump the gun and go over the moon and hills, because I mean you can pick up these guys in the draft, right? And there's some other guys still out there. If they wanted to get Shref, oh man, you're talking about draft, and then Shref's gonna want money. So you just offered $10 million to his buddy over there, and he knows that he's better. So his buddy might say, okay, I want 12 or 13 per year.
And then like a second round pick, maybe.
14 million for Sheriff.
That's possible. That's very possible.
It's possible, but like now, oh my gosh, Jesus Christ!
How much have we spent so far in free agency?
We only had the two 30 million, but only 21 was guaranteed to Jesus Christ, Shaq Lawson, and then 19.5, I believe, was guaranteed to Eric Flowers. If you listen, the one thing I don't want us to do, because I know we get into this, you need an offensive line, right? Right, granted, we're drafting young guys, right? And you need to develop. But you got to remember, we have so many guys who we brought in last year, like an Isidore and all those guys who still have a chance to prove themselves with some veterans around them, right? You don't want to get into
what's going to happen is we're going to move Dieter into center.
Yeah, Dieter to center, but you don't want to get to the position.
Did he play that in college?
Hold up, guys. You don't want to get into a position where you're like the Cowboys, where you can't pay your skill players because you've invested too much money into your offensive line. Now, Grant, I get it. 'Tis the season to do it, right? Because you're gonna have a rookie quarterback for the next 5 years, right? That you won't have to pay for like 5 years. Hopefully, we don't see him play until next year, depending on who we get and where we get them, right? Yeah. But you don't, because like what? Eric Flowers has 2 years, right?
3.
Dieter, 2 of them are guaranteed. Two guaranteed. And then you think about it, you're going to have to pay Dieter in a couple of years. So you still have to think about the hindsight of that. You don't want to put all of your cookies in one jar. And the Cowboys did that, but they also bombed out on it. And it was a lot of players' egos. I'm pretty sure if Ezekiel Elliott, I'm not going to go too far on a tangent of not talking about the Dolphins, but if Ezekiel Elliott would have came in last year ready to go, fully in shape, you have a much more different outcome of who wins the NFC East and who's, in the playoffs in the first round, hosting a wild card game. So we cannot get so focused on our trenches that we forget to address other issues. We have the ability to address our trenches also throughout the draft, which is very imperative. Now, I can see if we did not have that opportunity, then yes, go ahead. If you bring in Brandon Shref, then man, listen, we better have a top 10 run offense. That's all I'm saying. And on top of that, you might want to combat that with a top 15 pass offense for me to feel like it was anywhere worth giving up that type of money for one area of our field. because you're going from worst to top 15 and worst to top 10. And that is a huge jump. So for you to invest all that money, it better bear some fruit. I understand we get so enamored with names and bringing in guys, but you also have to do it where it's not the detriment to your future plans and to your future sustained success. And we cannot have ourselves in a position where in years from now, like Buffalo, we have to let key players or like core pieces go because we can't pay them or we can't afford to bring them back at a reasonable dollar amount, and where you're pretty much handicapped yourself. So I understand that we're going to see names and they're going to say, oh, these people are tied to the Dolphins. But the greatest thing that I saw from Greer and Flores was they said, yeah, we would bring in Melvin Gordon at the right price, not to the detriment of sustain, because when you go through 20 years of what we just went through, now granted, I didn't have to go through all 20 of them, but to say that we would have to do that maybe after a 5-year good stint, say we get 5 good years, like a 5 good year stint, right? We're making the playoffs. Maybe we get to an AFC championship game. I'm pretty sure a lot of us would consider that somewhat successful. I'm looking at Super Bowls, right? But like, let's garner some of these expectations because we know how hard it is to get to a Super Bowl, right? But then all of that vanishes away because the money is no longer there. At what cost? At what cost? 5 years? 5 years or 20 years? I mean, would you rather, like, granted, you don't want to be married for 5 years and then you get divorced because then you got to split half your assets and geesh. But if you can sustain, 20 plus years, that's great for us to have the confidence, because the AFC East is changing an atmosphere. Like, the atmosphere is definitely changing. You see a lot of the teams that have been, trodden on, trying to like. The Jets, the Bills, and the Dolphins are literally all in an arms race. I don't know if you guys really see that, but we are all in an arm race because we know that the first person to have the formula, to have the team put together for sustained success, will be able to run this thing for a while. And it's been a very long time. And all of the fan bases are hungry for this. I'm pretty sure whether it be the Bills, the Dolphins, or the Jets, the next one of us to win the AFC East is going to feel like a weight has been lifted up off of us, because 20 years of just like, well, yeah, the Patriots are going to just go, yep.
I was actually reading an article. I'm not sure if you saw this, but this having to do with it. This has specifically to do with the Dolphins and TV deals and relocating to a different division. And in this article, they said the NFL might think of moving the Dolphins to the AFC South with the Texans, the Jaguars, and who's the other? The Titans.
Listen,
and having Indianapolis in the AFC East.
And listen. I'm going to tell you this. If you put the Miami Dolphins in the AFC South, you can pretty much like sign playoff appearances for us, because we're going to have a better defense than a lot of these guys, right? We're revamping our running game. I mean, granted, it's going to be very hard to compete with the likes of Derrick Henry and Marlon Mack, because those guys have pretty much solidified themselves as, top. Ain't nobody worried about Fournette. Come on, man. If you're gonna give me a name, listen. I'm telling you, the kid Eric Armstead. No, is it Raquel Armstead? I'm thinking about the wrong Armstead. Raquel Armstead for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Please be on the lookout for this young kid. That young man can run the ball, and do not let the fact that he came from Temple fool you. But if you were to put the Dolphins. Ain't nobody, and this is all due respect to the man, ain't nobody afraid of Ryan Tannehill. Ain't nobody afraid of Phillip Rivers, if that's who they go. No, the Colts are staying up there. So who'd you say? Ain't nobody afraid of Gardner Minshew over here.
Wait. You're not afraid of Tannegoat?
Who?
Tannegoat.
Not at all.
Listen. I'm gonna tell you something. When and I'm not going down this rabbit hole because I'm pretty sure we'll see a guest appearance from
TD.
TD and all them guys like that. I am not. If you were to say, boom, it's the last game. Like, how many times?
Deshaun Watson's the only quarterback I'm worried about.
Right, exactly. Ain't nobody afraid of Deshaun. I'm glad the Carlos coming here. But here's my thing. I'm saying, how many times have the Dolphins been in a situation like, boom, you just got to win that last game? If you're telling me we got to go out and beat Gardner Minshew or Tannehill, who, well, it ain't going to be about beating Tannehill. It's going to be about beating Derrick Henry. Like, let's be real about that. And Deshaun Watson, yeah, because he's a winner. But, I mean, you kind of see how the Texans, with them not having a GM and not having, that big organizational thinking, is kind of like coming back on them. But you put us in the AFC South, man. Listen,
ouch.
I'm gonna just be sitting here cashing these Dolphins to make a payoff tickets and to win a division like every single year, because ain't nobody gonna be able to stop us with Brian Flores as our coach. Yeah, ain't no need to worry. I would be like,
who's moving out of the division if we're going there?
He said the Colts. They would put the Colts back
Colts?
in. After Peyton decided he couldn't sustain wins against Brady and the Patriots, now the Colts want to go back to the AFC East. Right. Oh, we not gonna get into that. We ain't gonna get it.
The Colts wouldn't be a bad team in the AFC East.
In this article, they actually said what the Dolphins did in the draft. It's traded down with the Chargers, and we drafted at number 6. We drafted Justin Herbert at number 6, and we got an extra 3rd-round pick from the Chargers, and their 6th-round pick, and their number 6 pick.
I just saw that trade now, that the 13th overall pick in the draft.
What?
Well, to me, if they're doing that, then I think they believe that they're going to have Rivers for maybe 2-3 more years. And then at that point, maybe not this year, but next year, they'll bring in a young guy to sit behind Rivers for 1 year. And then let them go back, huh?
Who are the 49ers trying to move up to the 13th overall pick to go get? That's my question. What do they need?
A safety, probably. Maybe
Reciver
or
wide receiver. Yeah, that's what I was automatically thinking. One of those top wide receivers.
I don't think they're going to stay at 13 though. There's some way someone's going to trade for that pick.
You think so?
I don't think there's any way the 49ers are going to stay at that 13th pick. Someone's going to trade for that pick. Maybe. Where did the Eagles pick?
21, I believe.
So the Eagles could go to the 49ers and trade. Like, let's say one of their receivers, Jeffrey's on the market, right? Like, he could be traded.
Who?
Alshon Jeffrey?
Anyone can be traded. I know they're trying. I think they're letting go of Aguilar, definitely, because he can't catch anything but.
No first.
So you could trade one of those guys for their pick and one of their wide receivers and move up to the 13th pick to get a wide receiver.
Listen, at the end of the day, what the 49ers do, I think it affects us this year because we play them. I'm pretty sure we play them in San Francisco. But at the end of the day, you're more concerned about Bosa and Armstead being back than you are about who the heck Jimmy G got to throw to, because he had a dude wide open in the end zone in the biggest game of his life and missed him. So I could care less at this point. If you
don't rip on Jimmy G.
Listen, what did he throw? He overthrew Emmanuel. You overthrew Emmanuel Sanders. Then okay.
Emmanuel Sanders is like 5'9".
I'm sorry, guys. Like, y'all really are going to see a side of me like that y'all not got to see before, because I'm interacting with you guys, but I'm worried about what we're doing and what's going on in our division.
Yeah, that's way more important to me, because I don't care about any other team but the Dolphins.
We gotta take a West Coast trip.
What do you think about that trade we did with the Chargers, where we drafted Herbert at 6 and we got an extra 3rd-round pick for them, and we what's your guys' opinion on that
Is
trade?
that like a speculatory trade? Like, are you like giving us like a possible scenario?
No. There's actually rumors that they want to draft Tua.
Who?
The Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sure of that.
Who would?
I'm sure everyone. Everyone's speculating.
Right.
Yeah. No. There's actually within the leagues saying they actually. It's not rumors. These are actual. This is from like Adam Schefter and like Ian Rappaport. They actually. These are factual, not rumors. These are factual anecdotes from GMs from other teams saying that they want to draft Tua at number 5. So
who?
The Chargers.
Well, they can't do that unless we trade them.
No, that's what I'm saying. I trust Herbert more to stay healthy. I understand Tua's a better quarterback, but Tua's injuries worry me a little bit, and his hip injury specifically, there's teams that are worried that his injury can happen again. That hip injury is not stable enough to sustain for a whole career.
Well,
we got to stop being so worried about everything.
Right. That's what well, first of all, if you guys are enjoying the guys that are on the panel with me right now, make sure you subscribe to TDPHINSTALK and hit the like button. But my thing is like this, until that actually happens, I ain't got no worries about it. But I will say this, whether we get Herbert or Tua, correct? As long as we have a team that's around them and we're not like, oh yeah, we need you to drop back and shotgun and throw the ball like 50 times per game. As long as we have a sustained team where we have balance of a great run offense and pass offense, and our defense is out there doing their thing, I would prefer Tua personally. It's kind of like risk reward thing, right? Like if Tua is Tua, there's no one else you could have picked that like justifies you not going out and getting him. Like that's how good he is. Like everyone like before that, like before Tua goes, they're going to be compared to Tua because he dropped, right? But as far as I understand your concern, I'm not going to negate your concern about his injury, but I feel like at this point we're beating the dead horse with Tua's hip and his injury, right? Like I said, I try to reserve all of my Tua talk to after I see him throw a ball, right? Like, let's go out there and see where his mechanics and his motion and his footwork is and his timing, right? Because those are the things that people fell in love with them. And do those things still spark? Because if those things still spark, there's no one other than, I guess, the injury situation that could say they would want Herbert over Tua. Now, it's the offensive line's job to protect him. And if you bring guys in, and hopefully, like I said, you give. Hold up, wait, hold up. Like I said, you give him a year, right? The offensive line a year to build a chemistry to where they have a pocket for him. Now, if Tua wants to leave the pocket, that's between him and God. Because I mean, I can't go out there and say Tua stay in the pocket if he thinks it's better for him to go out. But hopefully, at that point, we may get a roughing the passer call or something. At least we'll get that now because we weren't getting it with Tannehill. So.
No, the reason why I'm saying that is because his body type reminds me a little bit of Robert Griffin III, and that's what scares me.
He's bigger than Robert.
No, but
he has much more on him than Robert. And here's the thing. Robert didn't trust his arm enough. Tua trusts his arm. So when you say that, to me, it's kind of like it's two different types of mentalities behind the quarterback, right? Robert didn't trust his arm enough, or either he didn't trust his arm enough, or he didn't trust his receivers enough, or he was too infatuated with being a playmaker. Any given Sunday, give me that guy. That's kind of who Robert was, minus the vomiting. Like, I just want to make every single play, and I want to be a me guy. But once he became a team guy, that was more imperative. But as far as Tua, we will not know until his pro day. I'm pretty sure ESPN or NFL Network will make it available to all of us to see. And at that moment, I think right then and there, because we've gotten, it's good, it's great, it's as best as it can be, we're going to know the truth behind all of these reports. So until then,
speaking of like that, do you guys have any updates yet on when they're rescheduling the visits for Tua and Justin Herbert to the Dolphins because they had to cancel it because of this thing?
As of right now, there is no timetable with the coronavirus out. Teams can't even travel to pro days, and they can't even bring people in. So no, there's no timetable. The timetable would most likely be released once the league lifts that ban.
And do you think they're gonna have to push the draft back?
No, they already said that they're not going to. It's just that the public can't go. So I won't be there. TD won't be there. Sorry to everyone who was, looking forward to meeting us in Vegas. I don't know what TD's contingency plan is on about the draft. I'm pretty sure he is still going to live stream. Me and him have to have a discussion.
They all need to come out. TD needs to come see me because the draft's on my birthday, so that's gonna be pretty cool. Pretty cool.
3 days after my birthday. 3 days before my birthday.
Okay, shout out to y'all. Congratulations.
I have a question. What's the young man's name underneath me? I wasn't able to see his name.
Rashad.
Oh, Rashad. I have a question. What's your opinion on Dantzler from Mississippi State? Do you like him better over Christian Fulton, or do you like Christian Fulton better?
I prefer because he's a child for winning and competition always. That's big for me. You got the numbers. You're going against the talent.
I didn't hear him. He's cutting up a little bit. I can't hear him.
Can you hear me now?
You're going in and out for some reason. I don't know why. I'm going to go in and come back out. I think it's me. I'll come back in and go back out.
Did anybody else hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you.
I can hear you.
But go ahead and finish your take, Rashad.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Christian Fulton. I'm not a big fan of Christian Fulton, but I know a lot of people have a lot of bad things to say about, but from what I've seen, he's there. I mean, that LSU game was wait. Which game? LSU versus Clemson. It was kind of. Yeah,
he was getting burnt, wasn't he?
He was getting annihilated, but it's Justin Jefferson, it's Joe Burrow,
But you got to realize when you come into the NFL, it's a whole bunch of people that's better than Justin Jefferson and better than Burrow. So
yeah. But with that being said,
go ahead. I feel like sometimes go ahead, Rashad.
With that being said, though, I feel like Joe Burrow is just that good of a quarterback. It's just you can't give him that much space.
Tony Romo at best.
You said what?
He's Tony Romo at best.
Oh, come on.
Ooh, God.
Wait, listen. You see, this is the talk to have on TD's All Sports channel, but come on. I don't, because my thing is
I'm not backing down from that statement.
For the most part, this year, he didn't choke away games. He didn't make mistakes in key moments. Right. So when you say Tony Romo at best, this dude better be dropping field goals. This dude better be throwing interception on first and 3. Like he better be throwing. And now granted, it took him the right system and the right situation, with the right people around him. But that is what the NFL is all about. These are the best of the best of the best in the world. And
it's not going to work out in Cincinnati. I can tell you that much.
Oh, man, listen, we're not, sorry, TD, because I'm not, this is a rabbit hole, but granted, I know how I feel about him going to Cincinnati. Like I said, this is a talk to have on his other platform. But listen, when you have two of the top AFC division, defenses in your division, there's going to be a learning curve. And that's the thing. Like I say, you guys always come in, but well, not you guys, but fans always come in with this expectation that these college guys are going to be able to outsmart and outplay guys who have been doing it for years longer than them when they've already gone through the learning curve. Give them some time.
Joe Burrow will be out of the league in 5 years.
What?
What?
You heard me. You
Listen,
heard
if
me.
Mark Sanchez lasted
You
as
heard
long
me.
as he did, Joe Burrow, jeez,
What makes you think this?
He'll be
This
a
is a rabbit
backup.
hole.
He'll be a
Hold on,
backup. Maybe not
wait.
hourly, but he'll be a
Do
backup.
you know who Jamarcus Russell is? He played
Yes.
more than 5 years.
Hold
Joe
on.
Harrington.
We're going down a rabbit hole. At the end of the day, all we
I'll
can
have a
do
discussion
is
with TD on his other channel if he wants to do that. But like,
this is
I'm not backing
something.
down.
And I think, you know what I think about it? I think we get so focused on guys who've had like a spark season, right? And how do they translate to the NFL? Because he had a spark season. Granted, he caught fire, he called lightning, right?
Show me all the other years. Show me all the other years.
Listen, I'm with you on that. But like I said, this is a talk to have on his other platform. But guess what? Right now, the kid is hotter than a tea kettle that's whistling. You feel me?
I mean, you can ask for more tape, but
I want more years, and he's a locker room problem.
I mean,
he's gonna be a locker room problem.
How many more quarterbacks have put up outstanding numbers and done nothing in the league? End of the day, when you get a quarterback,
let's talk about Johnny Manziel. Do you remember him?
Manziel?
Do you remember?
Yeah,
Johnny
it wasn't
Manziel?
for 1 year. That's the whole thing.
He still
Johnny
sucked.
Manziel had two. Yeah, Johnny Manziel was a bust. There's a lot of busts out there.
And Johnny Manziel did better than Joe Burrow.
I'm against drafting quarterbacks that aren't sure things high at all. I'm over it. I've seen the Dolphins.
But this man just say Johnny Manziel is better than Joe Burrow.
Dolphins so
in college, yes. In college, yes.
Oh my God.
In college, yes.
In college, does what?
Listen. Like I said, this is a rabbit hole to have on the other platform because believe me, I have some opinions on this. But Joe Burrow will be fine. He has a running back in Joe Mixon. He has AJ Green back. I'm very interested to see who else they bring in and what Cincinnati is going to do to ensure that this guy's successful. He is in a very hard division, and a lot of you guys will not acknowledge that. You talk about Johnny Manziel. Well, he had to go play for the worst team in one of the best divisions in the AFC. People forget that People forget that for the most part, the Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers coexistently have been playoff teams within that division and been the only two juggernauts fighting consistently for that division because of their defense. So, when you talk about historically great teams and defenses, we're not going to go to the Ravens' years of Ray Lewis. We're not going to go through those teams. We're not going to go through the Tro Polamalu era. We're not going to go through that. So what I'm saying is put some things. Oh, TD, Donald and Irene Young wants to come in. So hopefully you can drop the link and bring them in.
You gotta think of you're all calling me crazy, but
you gotta think big boy. You gotta think big picture. When have the Browns put a team together? It's not that Johnny Manziel sucked, right? It's not that he just didn't translate well because he had a horrible team around him.
So you could say the same thing for the Cincinnati Bengals for Joe Burrow coming in. You
No,
say the same exact thing. The team is not together.
Yeah, wait. You got a point. You can.
And that's why I said I didn't want to. But think about it, right? Cincinnati did it to themselves, right? Because they didn't sustain their defense. Because why was Cincinnati being able to compete? They had a defense with Pac-Man and all them guys. They had a good defense, and that's when they made their stripes. Because Andy Dalton wasn't asked to do too much. Because remember, Andy Dalton only had AJ Green. Then Giovanni Bernard came onto the scene, was running, but then he got hurt. We're not going to go through how many running backs the Cincinnati Bengals went through. So, like I said, this is a rabbit hole conversation to have on TD's other platform. But TD, at least now you know where you can start. You have an excellent topic to start on and to get into. But
Jordan Love at 18.
That topic should be we should trade up for Joe Burrow. I don't care what it takes.
You want to trade all three first round picks? Is that what you would do?
Would I or should I? Would I or should I?
Would you?
I should, and I would. Promise you. I got this. This is my whole thing. I got $90 million. I can spend in free agency, right? I shore up that line. I get two offensive linemen. slide Dieter over, slide Davis over, probably draft another tackle or something. I got my receivers. I draft me a running back, or I sign Gordon, and I draft my quarterback in Burrow. I got 2nd round picks to play with. I got next year to play with. If they ask for my first 3 first-round picks, take them. If you're going to give me Burrow, take them.
Hold on 1 second.
Simple as
Breaking news, because I know a lot of us were interested in getting Conklin. Conklin has now officially signed with the Browns. The Browns are making some moves. And listen, I already put in a little bet that they would make the playoffs this year. So y'all pray for me. But I tried to get on it early with a good dollar amount. But the Browns, Jesus Christ. Sorry, Dad. I kind of put a wager in already for them to make the playoffs, not to win the division, but that they would possibly get one of those wild card seedings. But
well, I hope they do. They have everything they need.
This is what I feel about the whole Jordan Love at 18 situation, Cloud Life. If he is still there and he's still available at 18, that means that we did not draft Tua. So that is going to ruffle a lot of the feathers of my guys on the panel conversation. So now to me, it's kind of like, who did we get at 5, right? But if you're telling me we're going to get Jordan Love at 18, I would still want him to sit. I would still love to see him start 2021 with the full knowledge of Chan Gailey's offense, and also that gives him time to develop, because like remember, a lot of these guys don't know how to command a pocket, don't know how to call plays and all that. So that gives him a whole year to get that leadership, role and prowess in there. I am not 100% against Love, I guess. I guess we got to get somebody, right? I was like, earlier I was like Tua or nobody. I'm really still big on getting Tua. But at the end of the day, I have to come to the realization that as a fan, no matter who we bring in at quarterback, the only thing that I can wish for is their success. Because if they're not successful, my team's not successful, and I'm not going through, I refuse to go through another 10 years of this. Like, I'm telling you, 5 is like really my tipping point right now. Like, I'm really getting there oh my gosh. But we're making the right moves. We're heading in the right direction. I'm waiting for TD to bring in Donald and Irene. But I want to get back to, because we don't know what we're doing as far as our running back next year. I'm pretty sure if anyone were to say Ken Balaj, a lot of people would want to punch me through the screen just to mention that name right now. But I believe Kalen Balaj will turn it around as a 3rd down back. I believe as a 3rd down back, he will turn it around. But, we're probably most likely going to get a 3 down back. So I don't know where Kalen Balaj is going to come in and all this.
J.K. Dobbins.
The practice squad. Just
move that man to Laird could go to the practice squad too.
When he shied away from that pass and seen it coming and dunked, I was done. I'm over it. No more. I don't care about the size. I don't care about the talent, the athleticism, none of that. If your brain doesn't regulate, the ball is coming to put your hands up and catch it, this isn't the sport for you.
Listen, what I really want to talk about.
TD, I was listening to that conversation. This is not his sport. Dodgeball might be his sport. This isn't it.
I want to seriously talk about our wide receiving core, and what do you guys think about it? Because for the most part, we either have a feeling that that either Wilson is going to be traded or let go of. So now the only true speed guy, I think I have to go through the whole list again, we would have is Jakeem Grant. And they've pretty much resorted his talents to the special teams, and I believe Isaiah. So now we're going to be all big, right? But where is the versatility at? You guys want to speak on that a little bit?
We need to go get another speedy guy for the slot. See, like on social media, a ton of people want us to trade for Stephon Diggs, which wouldn't be the worst move in the world. I know you want Stephon Diggs, Phinsanity. remember from my live stream on Madden, you want me to trade for him for Albert Wilson. So
and we would have to give something else. We would have to incentivize that too. But go ahead.
Yeah, like Albert Wilson and 3rd round pick would work or something like that. I don't know. We just need an extra piece that's not a big guy that you're just because all these guys you can throw up balls to and they're gonna go up and catch it, but you need someone to throw it over in the middle to that can make plays. So.
I would say this. For the most part, we didn't have. I mean, Gesicki came on right at the tight end position late, but it was kind of like Fitz just threw it up, and Gesicki just by the grace and mercy of all types of God our Heavenly Father came down with it, right? But like the one thing we lacked last year was separation. Even if you look at all of Devontae Parker's, a lot of his highlights were in double coverage, right?
All over
and
somebody.
He's just coming down with that. And that's what I wanted to say. Like, is that 100% sustainable? When are we going? We need guys that can get open, right? It makes it a lot easier, and especially when you're going to be bringing in a young guy who has to get adjusted to the speed, and sometimes don't see the windows, or just don't want to take the chances as much. That's why sometimes when you draft a young guy, sometimes it's better to get a gunslinger, because at least they're going to throw the ball, than a guy who has to see it. And what did they say was the knock on Johnny Manziel? Not Johnny Manziel. You got to think about Johnny Manziel. Baker Mayfield. If you're not open, he's not throwing it to you. And they said, and they were telling them, hey, listen, you have Jarvis Landry, you have Odell Beckham Jr. Just throw it to the guys. They're going to come down with it somehow, some way. They're going to come down with it. So that's why, getting back to bringing this full circle back to cloud, like I like to bring things in. I would not mind a guy who who's just going to not necessarily throw all caution to the wind, but at the end of the day, if you don't throw it, they can't catch it, right? We have these big guys who have some great physical abilities, right? It's just that the separation isn't one of them. But if we're not going to address that and bring in guys, because now you can't do pick plays anymore, so you can't open guys up in the middle of the field, at least you want someone who's going to be, sturdy enough to withstand the hits. I do believe that we do need to, I don't want to say, because we're probably most likely, if because we have so many more needs, we have to deal with the offensive line in the draft. We have to get our quarterback. A lot of people want something designated towards our secondary, but there are a lot of guys on the back end, because this wide receiver class is so deep, right? It's so deep that we could potentially pick up someone. And believe me, I'm going to leave this this question to my fellow panelists. Who do we see as a late round possible pickup? Oh, sorry guys, in the running back. Sorry for all those who are saying. Who do we see as a late round pickup wide receiver that we can get that can help improve this this wide receiving core? Because a lot of people, if you think about even with Russell Wilson getting a second guy to go along with Lockett, Metcalf is not a guy that's creating separation. He's just so big and so physical that he's just going to go up and get it from you. Lockett is your guy that he's going to create separation, and even if you put in that tight window, he's just going to catch it. Like, I don't know, the man been doing this for umpteen years. It just keeps happening. But do we need that? Is that like a major concern? Do we absolutely need that? And I'm saying with a guy like Fitz,
Yes.
I'm saying for a young guy, yes, but like for this next year, right? With Fitz, you necessarily don't need it because he's going to throw it regardless. Or as you see, he's going to run it himself. But I'm pretty sure we're going to have a run game. But here's the thing. A lot of that also was due to the fact that we had no run game. So play action was negated. You knew that at that point, the Miami Dolphins had one option only. And their only option was to throw the ball. So they could allow more guys to stay back in the secondary. The linebackers were not worried about our running backs. Like as funny as it is, hey, Fitz is not outrunning any linebacker, even if he gets a head start, right? And then, this is funny. We knew our running back. It's sad when on first down you don't even want to run the ball. That's really bad. That's sad.
Tragic.
But are you like trying to find a wide receiver you can get in late rounds? Because I do have a guy you could look at.
Listen, yeah. Go ahead. Who do you have?
You guys need to check out Gabriel Davis from UCF's tape.
Okay.
He's not the most well-known guy, but I've like known this guy since I was a freshman in high school. Mm-hmm. Got lined up against him in freshman football, and he is an absolute beast. He did it in college too, and I can see it coming to the next level. Just check out his tape. He is definitely a guy you can get day 3, like 3rd or 4th round draft pick. He is definitely going to be there for you. Maybe even 5th if it's so deep of a class.
Okay, I have a question for you guys. GPP Central said, are we keeping Taco and Harris?
Unfortunately.
Yeah. I think Taco brings some more pressure to the D line or to rush on the quarterback, which I feel like he's going to get a better outcome now that we have that we're going to build up the D line more. I can't believe I already forgot the guy, Shaq Lawson, having him on one side, and then you can have Taco Charlton coming in on the other. I feel like it's going to be a really good duo, or whoever else we bring in. But Albert Wilson is up in the air right now. What we're going to do with him? We better restructure a deal or cut him or trade him.
Sorry. And to go back into that receiving thing, remember earlier how you said the Bills and the Jets were up and coming? Like, if we were paying attention, the Bills have $80 million in cap space. How we ended our season, the Jets actually ended their season a lot better, and they both want wide receivers.
They need them.
Like, they need wide receivers. They're pretty much good teams. They just need wide receivers.
They don't have any big guys. They don't have like a solidified number one guy, like where you said, that's their number one guy, or like that's who X is guarding, FGQPMHS, like, but the Bills have, oh my gosh, because I had these guys on it's crazy. I really had these guys on my fantasy team last year. Yeah, and the guy from Dallas, I don't want to call him, the little speedy guy in the
Beasley.
Beasley, there you go.
Yeah.
Beasley.
Yeah.
And none of them are big, right? Brown has the speed, but I think Brown did burn us one game. And then you think about the Jets, it's very ironic. The Jets were able to they single-handedly beat us with Robbie Anderson up in New York, which is really sad. Man, now we will say that last call on Nick Needham was a fluke call. Like, how do you review something? We're not gonna get into how you go back and review that. You don't call
that at the end of the game. You don't call that. It's like,
he did it. He did something to have the flag thrown, but you don't review. You don't. It shouldn't have gone down the way it did.
He went for the ball. Like,
and listen, this is why I say, we need a defense that when the quarterback is looking across the field, his heart is racing, because one, he knows he's not going to have time to go through all of his reads necessarily. 2, he knows his first read and his second option are not open because those 2 guys are taken, and then he knows push come to shove. My best case scenario is maybe like we had to do bubble screen it out or drop it off to the running back, and hopefully they can make some type of magic out of it all, right? But, I really feel like the Dolphins, with some of the moves that they're making and are going to make, when it comes to the future of this team, it's looking, you're starting to see that light turn on a little bit. We've been walking down that tunnel for some time, but it has to be put together the right way. And that is where a lot of people differ, right? Because I truly believe, you know, you need a run game and you need a defense, right? And then you bring in your quarterback. A lot of us are, before we 100% have that solidified, right? We're already looking at what quarterback we're going to have for our future, which is not wrong, which is, you know, not completely horrible. But I truly believe that we are doing things in a way where we will have sustained success. And I like the first moves that we made. Did someone say why not trade Parker? Oh my gosh. Joseph Blau, he's a commodity. And what are we getting for him? And where do we find the place to replace what we're losing? Because we have to use our first round picks, right? On some other necessities, you know, bigger necessities than a wide receiver, because we have a wide receiver. He is our number one guy. So when you say, why not trade Parker? That's kind of like you want us to pull a Houston Texans move. Oh, yeah, trade your best receiver. Especially, why would you trade your best receiver when you have a young guy coming in? I think we got in love with having all these picks, right? Because we have all these picks and we're so excited, like we can bring in all this fresh new talent, like, yay, the Dolphins have 3 first-round picks. Well, you had to sacrifice a lot to get that. You got your wide receiving core for the most part situated. Why take some steps back from that? Oh, now you get it? Okay, Joseph Blau. Thank you. I'm glad I cleared that up for you. But listen, we have like 5 more minutes. If there's anyone else who wants to come in and say any final remarks, ask me any questions, get their piece out. This day is for every single one of you guys on TD FinStalk. I did not expect it to be this early. I am so apologetic for the ones who are still at work and the ones who are just getting off of work, but trade Parker for Ryan. Jesus Christ. So listen, Mondays are for you guys to come in, talk, let us know what you're feeling about the team, the direction, whether it be our front office, our coaching staff. I know we just got a new wide receiving coach, but we didn't get a new one. He just got promoted. I wish a guy like Lee Hall would have been brought in, but that's for like personal reasons. How you doing, sir? How are you?
Hey, how in the world we doing, Phinsanity?
I am amazing. God bless you.
The class of the panel. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Thank you.
Hey,
What
I
you
am
got for
so
me?
glad to be on this. I know I just got a few minutes. I know you're going to be getting ready to cut off and everything. But I would like for the Fin fans to acknowledge it appears the difference between years past and this year is that Greer and Flores have a plan.
Right.
The plan is being enacted. Years past, we didn't have a plan. We were just trying to get big names to come in order so we can try to fill some holes and try to adjust on the fly.
Yes.
That doesn't work in today's NFL if you want a dynasty. You got to have a plan, build it, and get it settled. Right now, it appears as if the Dolphins will be intent on building the trenches, which is exactly what we need to do. And then make a splash come the draft, whether it's getting Tua, any quarterback in the draft, as well as getting a running back to learn under a vet, because I still think you need veterans to help teach the youngsters. We need that on this team. We're too young and too green. So with that being said, I would like to hear from you, Phinsanity, on this question. Now, since Conklin is gone and the Brown and the Crayolas have him, do you believe now that the Fins will target Trent Williams from the Redskins, or will they go ahead and still target that nice offensive tackle from Georgia, or even Scherf from, let's say, from Iowa? Let's say they get that OT. Go ahead and try to get that line as well as the defense together, because I also believe, as TD says, I still think Miami gonna sign a big name corner in free agency. Everybody's talking about Jones from Dallas. I don't think that's the one. I think Xavier Rhodes being released by Minnesota, I think that's going to be the one that Brian Flores wants to get there. Somebody acclimated to the weather that can come in and begin to help the other corners to tell X, look, we building something here, baby. And if you ain't part of it, you can go. We going to take care of business. So I am excited about this. I cannot wait. This is what we've been looking for right here. And I think also one last thing. I also think, watch out, everybody. I know y'all don't want to hear it, but Josh Rosen is going to show out. I believe a year having the playbook, being at the same level with everybody else, not coming in a month late, trying to pick up something. Everybody's at the same pace. Everybody's trying to learn from Chan Gailey on this. And when you see it, you're going to see a night and day difference. Watch and see what happens when a youngster gets behind a vet and actually learns something. This is going to be exciting.
Okay. So let me address your offensive line scenarios. Here's the thing, right? You go too young and it's going to show up real fast, right? Like that's the one thing that the panelists, I know, Reason and EM and Mr. Ballgame, he will be making an appearance soon. I miss him so much, right?
Yes.
We are trying to figure out, because remember, we have all these veterans we brought in from other teams late.
Yes.
Like we brought them in like real late, to started bringing in guys and they were sitting on our practice squad, right? So we have to find that balance of, you know, vet and young, because if you are too young, it will show.
Yes, it will.
And especially if you want to revamp your running game, right? So the communication on the offensive line side of the ball. Someone said Trent Williams is old. I mean, we still have Davenport, we have Isadora, we have a lot of guys, and hopefully they've been able to develop, and you know, where they were lacking on other teams, maybe because they were just a little bit behind the curve.
Right.
Having all this time to sit, because remember, a lot of these guys did not play last year with us. They were just sitting on the practice squad and, you know, on the sideline. That's why I said earlier, training camp is going to be very interesting because you are going to have competition across the board. For the most part, I believe that our defense, because I mean, I don't know how many more guys we're going to bring in, is pretty much intact. You're going to be some moving pieces around, right? But on that offensive side of the ball, barring the wide receiving core, it's going to be a lot of competition. A lot of people have already given the ball to Fitz, and I mean, I know how I feel about that. But as far as putting together the right offensive line, I love Tristan Wirfs for what it's worth. I love his athleticism and his mobility and his speed, right? You need a guard that can pull and get out in front of some guys and hit them linebackers on the second, you know, level. So,
what about Mekhi Becton?
Oh man, I don't think he's gonna be there. And that's the scary thing about it, because Becton, listen, when I was watching the combine, I will honestly say I thoroughly enjoyed watching the offensive linemen this year, because it was something to see. It was something to behold, how these guys were getting off blocks and moving. But I will say this, trying to get the right formula of veteran and young guys, because you want guys to develop and you want to have guys that can start and be competent. Because Chan Gailey, what he's bringing to us is not going to be any form of a joke, a playbook. So everything that we saw last year, I believe on the offensive side of the ball will be completely amplified. Because this is a guy that has sustained doing this, right? This is a guy who has been about his business on the offensive side of the ball, and he's going to know who can and who cannot, you know, be within his offensive scheme. I'm for this. I do not want to have to trade and give up assets to bring in a guy, right? Because there is so much depth in the draft, and there's so many guys still available. Coughlin, oh my gosh, if we would have got him, I'm pretty sure it would have set off, you know, all the bells and whistles for us. At that point, we would have probably been happy just walking into the draft, as long as we got Byron Jones or somebody to, you know, go along with X in the secondary. At that point, we were just say offensive line, boom, get the rest in the draft, right? But we're still in a position where, like, where do we go from here? I really do believe that because of the versatility that Chan Gailey is going to bring, it's either going to have to be a very quick learning curve, because we can't be in a situation where we're just telling guys to block the guy in front of you. That was very horrible, especially for our run game, and our run game definitely suffered because of that. So
atrocious.
it's going to be a very quick learning curve, especially with this coronavirus, and you don't know when guys are going to be coming in. So that might be, we might have to make some we might have to make some necessary sacrifices. But as for me, I would love to see what some of these guys can do that we brought in. Why? Because they're cheap, right? And we can allocate money to other areas.
Right.
So that was an amazing question. I know that no matter what Greer and Flores decide to do, it will be with the best intentions of this organization.
Yes.
Someone said, you were talking about bringing in a veteran running back. That is beautiful. And you really think about it. When is the last time someone had a veteran guy to learn from, within our organization? What Jay had, Arian Foster. Had Arian Foster for a little bit, and he kind of shined through that. But ever since then, who have we had that, was that guy? So,
one last thing, Phinsanity. One last thing. Me and EM's boy is still out there for free agency too.
Who?
Defensive tackle Michael Pierce from Baltimore. He is still there. If they go get him, the D line is set. It is set based on what you have from right now. I mean, starting from day one, the D line is set. And the only thing that we have to look at now is linebacking core. I know we need another safety since Rashad is gone now, but I like the safeties that's coming out in the draft too, because there are two of them. One is 6'3", the other one is 6'2", and both of them run sub-par 4.5s. And I would say, yes, we need that physical safety there. Not because I like who we put there, but he's too small to play there. And so,
Gore. I did forget about Gore. Thank you, Poseidon. Yes. I actually did forget about Gore. I mean, he was.
Yeah, he trained Drake. And look at what they did at Arizona. They made him a restricted free agent as a tended player. Drake showed out last year. And so he has a little block, and some things can happen. So like right now, I just want the Dolphins to get bigger, faster, and meaner, because we have to win our division. And everybody might not realize it, but for the last 9 years, the Dolphins have always split with the Patriots. The Patriots have never been the bane of the Dolphins. It has been the Buffalo Bills. They are too physical, just like the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. We have to get bigger and solid, more up front, to be able to take those big guys. And I cannot wait to listen to the panel discussion on this one. I cannot wait to hear you all, with all the free agents that can be signed from today and tomorrow up until now, because it's really beginning to pan out who we're going to target in the draft. I cannot wait to hear you all. So I'm looking forward to it, Phinsanity. Keep it classy, and keep them straight, please.
Yes, sir.
You be blessed, my lady.
You too, sir. Oh man, listen. I think Ian would be so happy if we got Michael Pierce. I mean, I would be happy. We need to be able to stop the other team's run, games, right? It's Jesus Christ. Sometimes when you think back on what we've gone through, especially on the defensive side of the ball, not being able to stop anything or anyone, it's been hard. But Daniel Taylor said, Fin Nation, we play in chess, not checkers, with the other 31 teams. Once the Dolphins hit checkmate, it's lights out. Listen, I love that, because when you say checkmate, Daniel Taylor, the game is over. You keep saying check and check and check and check, but once you put checkmate onto it, the game is over. Who was that? Phinsanity 5. Oh man, listen, I do not remember that young man's name, but I know he's been on the panel with us numerous times. Wow, the Browns are going to sign Case Keenum. Yay. But I don't know. TD, you got to come back real quick. You got to come back. Hold up, because I think I've gone over my time. I don't know if TD's there, if he can hear me. Maybe. I don't know. But Is there anybody else that has any questions, any thing they want to say, anything that maybe you want the panel to talk about tomorrow night? We are the Dolphins bully.
What's up? What's up?
How you doing, sir?
I'm sorry, you were calling my name while I was basically kicking somebody out of the room. But anyway, the little one, the youngest, he just too addicted to me right now. But no, we still got a lot of free agents available. We still got a lot of opportunities out there. See, this is just day one. See, some people feel like everybody's gone now.
Right.
No.
People need to be courted.
Yeah, it's about to go down within the next 24 to 48 hours, man. And Michael Pierce, man, again, I can see it happening, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't know.
Man, listen. It would be so nice to stop somebody's front game.
Well, hopefully we headed in that direction. And we got almost 200 people watching. That's amazing. Y'all hit that like button. We only got 122 likes. Phinsanity did her thing tonight, man. And we got 122 likes. Punch that like button, y'all. Y'all already know what time it is.
Sean Jones said no panel tonight. Sean, I think which panel are you talking about? Because the normal panel is reserved for Tuesday night, and this is Monday night.
We might have a conversation with the panel tonight. It just depends. We'll see, because I'm going to be on all sports unless we have some more news that comes through. So come check me out on TD Sports Talk. I got a lot of streaming to do over there, man. That's just all sports. That's NFL, NBA. I do whatever topic. I got to talk about these Cowboys. I got to talk about these Texans. I got to talk about so much that's going on in free agency. So that's where I'll be doing those streams, guys. I'm trying to keep this one as Dolphin exclusive as possible. And we're trying to bring everything else over to the other channel. So make sure you check it out, TD Sports Talk. For a majority of tonight, I'll be live over there. But I do plan on having a panel tonight on TD Fans Talk. It just depends on what time. It's still undecided. So we're going to get together and get the best time. But you can come hang out on TD Sports Talk. Again, Phinsanity did your thing. I appreciate you as always. Everybody wanted to hear from you. I wanted to hear from you, a lot of the thoughts that you had about what went on. And I'm glad you had some guests that joined you as well.
Yes.
You have any last thoughts or words?
Oh, man, listen, guys, this is just the beginning. This is how we want Mondays, I guess the beginning of Mondays to be from now on. So if you guys have time, definitely every Monday come out and hang out with me. TD may make some guest appearances. But listen, I know you guys are looking for the big name splash. It's coming, believe me. A lot of these guys want to go and get the whole free agency feeling, go to different organizations, feel wanted, feel appreciated, see their selves in different colored jerseys. You know how you pull out all the stops. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, the Dolphins have the money. They have, the tax breaks. And they also have the amazing weather. So we have a lot of good things going for us. We have a great coaching staff. And I hope to all the NFL players out there, make sure you guys put this out there. You have a fan base that is ready to embrace you and love you and to cheer for you as loud as any fan base has ever, because we are so ready. We are ready to have the rock actually rocking. We are ready to, have parties after the games on the beach. We are so ready to embrace you, your family, your friends, your preachers, your pastors, anything that comes along with you, because we just want to win. And if you want to win and you want to help us out and give the fan base that excitement that we deserve, we are 100% for you, behind you. We will buy your jerseys, because believe me, we need it. We need some new jerseys up in our closets. So come on down to Miami Gardens. I ain't gonna say come to South Beach, but we got a basketball team that's on the rise. I don't know what our hockey team's doing, but at least you can see Jimmy Butler.
Man.
Like, I'm trying to, if I could sell them, man, listen, they say we're one of the best fan bases. We're friendly. We're not going to boo you. We might boo the quarterback, but we're not booing you. Just know that. But man, listen, All are welcome who want to come, compete, and play hard and wear that aqua and orange. God bless every single one of you. My prayers are for everybody throughout this time, through this virus. I hope you guys have everything that you need, that you want, and that you also have peace of mind and happiness. God bless every single one of you. And to all the players who are signing, stay fit. Listen, training camp. I will be there. It will be exciting. It will be fun. And TD, we got to talk about this draft, man, because everyone's going to want to hear from you on what's the new plan.
Oh, well, we got to let this part play out first. We got to let the free agency play out before we come up with the plan, because it's obviously, people don't realize just the moves we made today alone is signaling a change in the draft approach as well. But I'm not even gonna. I'm gonna be smart and not even speak on plans for the draft until free agency is at least 4 days in. 4 days in, maybe 2. I'm probably gonna be itching after the second day. I'll probably be itching to talk about what my thought process is on the direction we're headed in the draft. But I'm gonna wait at least a few days after free agency actually opens.
I'm talking about like where are you going to stream from?
Oh, okay. That's a good question, because first off, there's still a chance that I'll be in Vegas, even though they're shutting everything down. Well, let me not say a good chance.
All of them are still closed.
Well, the thing is, it's me and all of the guys I went to college with. We're all meeting up there as well. We done already booked tickets. We done already got hotels. So it's still Vegas. So if this thing gets better, we all still may take that trip, and then I will still draft live from Vegas. I'll actually do what the NFL say they were going to do, but they didn't. So I'll come through and represent in Vegas. But who knows? We're still thinking about, just scheduling something later in the year for the fellas, and I'll probably be, I have no idea what I'm going to do for the draft now with these recent events, but I'll try to plan something very special. And worst case scenario, I'll be right here in the confines of home, staying safe, germ free and virus free, and streaming from here. So we'll see.
At that time you can have a whole draft party, invite selective people. Let me not have Hillary in the kitchen too soon. Let me stop. Sorry, Hill.
Listen, they're gonna have to show the Corona papers before they come over here. So that's just real. I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. You gotta have to show them Corona papers before you can be on TD. All right, so because this thing's serious and it's getting even more and more serious. It's taking people lives. So at the end of the day, man, I urge everybody stay safe. But at the end of the day, I'm glad that we have action now, because if you're a sports head, you're literally bored right now. You're bored out of your mind. And started yesterday with my boy Tannehill, the GOAT Tannehill getting that cash. But anyway, I wouldn't have paid him that much, but the GOAT Tannehill getting that cash either way. We back, man. We got sports.
You lucky you're not doing a panel on that one.
What? What's wrong?
Nothing. This is Dolphin talk.
Yeah, I said that's why I breeze right in and out of it. So y'all check me out on TD Sports Talk, because I know it'll come up, and I'll have to ether some people on trying to talk bad about the GOAT Tannehill. Hey, and Tannehill is Dolphin Talk. Tannehill will forever be Dolphin Talk. You know why? Because if this man go on to be bigger and better and winning Super Bowls and stuff, listen, man, Tannehill can go down worse than listen, I don't want to hear nobody ever mention the fact that we could have had Drew Brees. If Tannehill goes off and becomes great or win a Super Bowl, I don't want to ever hear nobody say, man, we even could have had Drew Brees. No, we had somebody. We had somebody now. It's even worse. Tannehill will top the Drew Brees non-pickup. He will top it. When he wins the Super Bowl and becomes great, it ain't no what we could have had. It's what we had and we let go. That's what'll happen, man. So, listen. You already know.
They're not handing them out, So
no, I know they ain't handing them out, but don't worry. He gonna get better and better every year. He done got better in this league, except year 5 when Gates. Anyway, but I guess that's it, man. I had to go out on the bang with 10 here, but thank you, Phinsanity. You were great tonight. I can't wait to see you next Monday and on these panels, man. But this is TD Fins Talk, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Again, make sure y'all go check out the other channel, TD Sports Talk. I'll be live over there for quite some time, going over a lot of these free agent moves, my opinions on them. Y'all welcome to come join me. Who knows? I might even do a panel over there if anyone wants to join. We'll be talking football regardless. All right, we're going to be talking football regardless. So y'all come over there. I may do a panel as well. Might have some new panelists for TD Sports Talk, just depending on how versed you are in all sports. So y'all come on the stream, show me what you got, and if it's something you're interested in, we can roll with it. Hey, this is the beginning of it, so this is your best opportunity if you know all sports now. If you know football, basketball, and let me stop that. That's wrong of me to say if you know all sports. I only follow football and basketball and tennis and golf. Outside of that, I don't watch baseball religiously like that. I don't watch soccer religiously. Like, no, you see, those are two. I don't. That's just me. So, everybody don't watch every sport. Some people do. Let me stop that. I mean, boxing I watch for sure. But outside of that, I don't do soccer and baseball really because never really got into it. So that's just the person I am. So just so y'all know. So let me stop saying long as you know all sports. Long as you know the main sports. If you know baseball, that'd be pretty cool too. Long as you know basketball, football, we can go at it. All those things. But anywho, and y'all can educate me on baseball if you want. So come on over again. It's TD Sports Talk. TD Sports, sports with the S at the end, okay? TD Sports Talk. All right, y'all come check me out. Yes, y'all subscribe to TD Fins Talk as well. But thank you, Phinsanity, and we are out, ladies and gentlemen.
Bye, Esteban.